Hey y'all, I'm Angela Barrett, and this is Talking South Carolina. Now y'all take a load off and listen, because no matter if you just moved here, thinking about moving here, been here your whole life, or you just plain nosy, bless your heart, I'll have something for you. Like, who's living in high cotton? Who's madder than a wet hen? Places to go if you got a hankering for fried chicken, and where you can go to get drunk as Cooter Brown. We'll talk pig pickings, cow tipping, tillions, hay rides, who's buttering whose biscuits, what's a case quarter, and lots of other stuff. So stay a while. Y'all, it's gotta be a hoot.
This episode of the Talking South Carolina podcast has been brought to you in part by HomeMattersSC.com, professional real estate services and marketing in the Midlands of South Carolina for people who want more. And by SimplyArlie.com, video editing, podcast production and consulting, graphic design, you name it. And now she's a realtor by day and a podcaster by night. Here's your host of the Talking South Carolina podcast, Angela Barrett.
Hey guys, today I have with me Elizabeth Anderson. She is with Platform in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, right outside of Charleston, across that big bridge that everybody likes to run across. So, thanks Elizabeth for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah. So let's talk about what First Platform is. You explain that.
Sure. So the full name of Platform is Platform, a Consciousness Studio.
Mm-hmm.
It's been open for just about a year. And its mission is to bring people to the practice of meditation. I do one form, but they offer many other ways to go about it. They have, I do a Nidra meditation, which is a yogic sleep, which it's not a physical movement practice. You're literally in one position the whole time. But they have Om circles. They have some mindful movement meditations. They have basically you can come in and schedule or drop in and do some pre-recorded meditations where you find your space in this beautiful, quiet, serene area that the owner has set up. And then they just also have evening classes. They're going to start doing some day classes where somebody's there to help you with the meditation, having someone with you. They're going to start doing some book clubs, The Artist's Way, The Four Agreements. I'm going to do some classes with some restorative yoga, classes on journaling, because the whole intent of Platform is to have a lot of different avenues to get you to be in your present space, to let go of attractions and aversions in your life and just come to your breath and come to the present moment. And as you practice meditation, you can take it out into the fray of your daily life and come back into that present space and have that anchor of your breath help you through all the moments that happen.
Yeah, right. And in this stage of and where we are today in the world, we could all use a little of that. Although it's a lot harder than it sounds. Now, let me ask you a few questions. You guys do yoga as well as meditation, or this is really a place?
It really is a place for meditation. So even though the style that I do at Platform is a Nidra style, it's called yoga, but really it is a meditation because you're in one position the whole time and it's guided. So we're gonna start doing the restorative yoga, but really that is to get you into a meditative state. I would say there's no asana style classes where you're really moving through and making it a physical practice. Most of everything that you will see there is very still, gentle movements. If there's any of that at all, there might be just some mostly guided meditations there. The reason why that we're introducing some of the restorative, which you would really be in maybe 6 positions for a few minutes. So it's very gentle and still very still before you go into a meditation at the end, is to get people comfortable with the idea of meditation. I think people in general, I know I did in the beginning, thought I can't meditate. I can't do that. I can't sit in the same spot and just breathe and connect. And I think people find it to be a little intimidating, and it's not. And that's why we're trying to introduce, it's so accessible to everyone. And so to introduce as many avenues as possible to get people comfortable with the meditation practice so they can integrate it into their lives and have more peace and calm as they go throughout their day.
Right. The and we're going to get into more of what your platform is, which is the Nidra.
Yep.
But let's talk about, I saw on there where the sound baths. Tell us more a little bit about that.
Oh, I'm a big sound bath girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a wonderful experience. So they have where you can go in. There's 4 styles of meditations in there that are pre-recorded headsets, and one of those choices are sound baths. There's 4 sound baths currently. They're going to start introducing new ones, and so there's no voice in a sound bath. You're listening to crystal bowls, rain sticks, some gentle music waves. It's all integrated together to get you into a calm state. So all of the headset meditations are half an hour. And then there is also a lady, her name's Arlen, and her business is Awaken Sponda, and she does sound baths there, and they're really incredible. So she comes in and does them live in that space.
Oh, that's nice. Now, what about the Om Circle?
Okay, so the Om, a lady named Carmen Knox does those, and she's amazing. That's how I actually came to platform. I was actually a couple doors down getting some items for a harvest moon yoga practice that I was going to do in my neighborhood, and I was like, what's this place? I just saw Platform, a consciousness studio, and they had a sandwich board outside saying they did Om circles, and that sounded interesting to me. So I just happened to go in there. I talked to the lady that was up front, and she said that yeah, you could come in and just sign up and do it. And so I did. I met Carmen, and basically what happens in that scenario is she does kind of a meditation in the beginning, and then you are basically chanting Om for several rounds, and you're doing it collectively with everybody in the circle, and it creates this incredible, peaceful, energetic space, and you feel very cleansed and rejuvenated at the end.
Nice.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Nidra and really the point of Nidra and sort of what its purpose is, because each one has a different purpose. So let's talk about your baby.
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to. So I got into it when I was getting my 200-hour certification. The Nidra was a small piece of it that one of the instructors introduced and actually went through with us a meditation like we would experience. And I thought, well, I didn't know this would even be a piece of what I would be learning. And I really enjoyed it. Once I got my 200-hour certification, you could get some other certifications as well. So I went ahead and got my Nidra certification. So it just specifically focused on that type of meditation or yoga. And what's so amazing about it is it does several things. And if you go to a Nidra meditation, it kind of has a specific formula because it's walking you through all the layers of your bodies. Like we have so much more than a physical body, and that's part of it, but you go through a physical journey, an energetic breath journey, a mental journey, a wisdom journey, a bliss journey. And it's really the practice of bringing your body and mind into the same space. It's working with your breath and dropping into the present moment. It helps you to rework belief patterns that are limiting. Each time you go through Nidra meditation, you'll be asked to focus on an intention, something that'll come to you naturally, that whatever you're feeling at that time, if you just to toss out, you might want to, you're like, I'm gonna be confident, or whatever you're trying to bring to the surface, because it's all in you. You just have to bring it forth into your present space. Excuse me. So it helps you to do all of those things, and the more that you practice it, the more you can bring it off the mat. And the other thing that it does is, we all have attractions and aversions. So aversions might be like if you have a fear of a certain animal or whatever it is, that if you happen to be walking across the street and one of those animals is there, that could disturb you. It can disturb your flow. And so if you could work on not being so averted by that. And then there's also attractions. I personally love my coffee in the morning.
Right.
So if I were to happen to go to the doctor next week and he says, hey, all of this caffeine really isn't working for you, no more coffee, that's an attraction for me. And I have to be okay with that. I have to say, okay, I can put that down. It's about neutralizing everything, so that you can just be in this present flow state. And nobody's going to do that all the time, but I mean, to just get better with that process of flowing through what is happening and what's coming your way.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong about this, but in my reading, in prepping for our talk today, what I read about the Nidra was it really dealt with going into the delta brainwaves, and in response for healing, which is responsible, the delta waves are responsible for your healing and restoration. Now, that is a lot of scientific stuff, but explore more into that.
Sure. So traditional meditation kind of keeps you in the waking state, those beta and alpha waves. So one of the reasons why the Nidra is called the yogic sleep is because it does get you into the delta as well, and it gets you into that kind of, I don't know if you've ever been waking up in the morning, or you wake up and you're not quite ready to get up, and you're kind of in that in-between zone. You're kind of asleep, you're kind of awake. It's very dreamy, it's very peaceful, and you don't really feel like you're fully in your physical body. You're kind of like floating in and out of that state. So that is where the Nidra meditation takes you, is into that delta wave state, to where you are relaxed, but you're still aware. And that is where you get into that state and dropping into calm and relaxed, and getting out of that flight or fright mode where you're just like freaked out about everything.
Yeah, like, oh crap, I gotta get up and do this.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and so again, in my reading or research, it talks about it can be good for certain things. Again, one of them I thought was kind of odd, and you can maybe help me with this, is type 2 diabetes.
Huh. Yeah, you know what? I am honestly not familiar with that being helpful in that regard.
Yeah. Well, it was just one of the things that it listed that it was helpful with. So I thought, well, I'll ask.
So I'll research that too.
Yeah. Well, I didn't take it any further than that. But so let's back up just a second and talk about the importance of meditation for everyday people.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about that.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of touched on this a little bit before. Life is so hyper connected now. We know everything all the time. There's so much information coming at us. And even if you're a person that maybe doesn't use social media, or watches TV a lot, it's still coming at you. Even as you try to mitigate it, it's constantly pouring at you. And, our brains really aren't made to take in all this information so quickly. So we are in a constant state of overstimulation. So meditation, I think now is critical. You need that time. I think people have a hard time carving out time for themselves in general. And it doesn't have to be, I do hour and half an hour meditation. The guided headphone ones and the sound baths are 30 minutes. And you don't have to start at that point or ever get to where I think as you do it more, you'll want to do it longer, but you can sit down and do it for 5 minutes. It does not have to be a long commitment during your day. If you feel like you don't have that time, you could start at 5 minutes. You can start at 3 minutes. Whatever's going to do it for you to start to get on that road, because we need quiet, we need blank space, and meditation is a way to get there because there's just so much out there. It's just like a fire hose coming at you all the time. And so you need to give your mind and body a time to reset and be in that quiet.
And so let's talk about, for somebody who's never done meditation and quite frankly probably has, and you've met them, some hesitation about, that's not for me, or, ooh, I don't know if I want to be a part of that group of people, however they might think of it. How do you get started? I mean, other than walking into a classroom, I get it, or putting a headset on. But I mean, physically, we lay down. Let's go from there. I mean, how do we separate what my grocery list needs to be? Because I'm terrible about that in yoga. And my yogi friend says, Angela, that is not the purpose. I'm like, well, I know, but how do you get to that point? I mean, how do you get to what you're saying, separation?
Sure. I think, to your point, I think that it can be daunting. Like, how can I do that? How can I carve out that space? And I think physically, first of all, finding that space is good. If you are the first person to get up in the morning, again, it does not have to be a long period of time. You could do it for 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes after you get up. And I think it's finding that physical space too. So if you are the first one up, if you've got a space on a porch or in an office, like carving out a little slice that this is your place where you sit and can be not distracted for a few moments. And again, start at that 3 to 5 minutes. And then, and again, also when you sit down and do it for the first time, if you could find, there's so many great, yoga music channels, like to look for instrumental, quiet, calming meditation music, put that on. You can light a candle and just gaze into that candle and find an intention for yourself. Or it could even be, things that you feel grateful for, whatever speaks to you, or something kind that you want to say to yourself, that you love yourself, something because it doesn't have to be thinking about nothing. It can be an intention you want to give yourself. 3 things of gratitude. You might want to try taking a journal, and before you meditate, just write 3 things that you're grateful for that morning or for that evening. Light the candle and focus on those 3 things. Focus in on your breath. Listen to the sound of your breath. It can be sitting in that space and coming into the present. And what are 5 things I see here? What are 5 things that I hear? And take it back to your breath and set a timer for yourself. And I can guarantee if you try one or a combination of those methods, that 5 minutes is going to go by so quickly. And you can just keep going back to those practices. And, if it's the gratitude, the journaling, if it's the lighting the candle, if it's focusing in on your 5 senses and what you feel in that space, whatever's speaking to you, and it could be different things on different days, or it could be one thing that you love, but just stay in those lanes. And then every few days, maybe set your timer for 2 more minutes and start to see how that helps to get you into the space where you need to be, and see how that affects how you go about your day and how you were to respond when you're, as we all get into in Charleston, say like traffic or,
right.
How you can just bring it back to that present space and not let that get under your skin so much.
Right. And let's talk about intentions for those who don't know anything about meditating. So explain again what an intention is.
Yeah. So an intention is, I don't want to necessarily say something you want to work on, because I don't want it to be a pressure and another goal that, somebody's again putting on their endless to-do list and the busy, productive life that they have. But an intention can go back into self-love, letting go of a fear, wanting to have more clarity. It's just, an intention can be an endless thing because that individual is going to decide what their intention is. And
so
it's not
another word could be a goal.
It could be a goal. And I mean, a lot of times, when we talk about goal, again, it's not like I'm going to lose 10 pounds. Run a half marathon or whatever you want to do. It's really more about taking it into the eternal. Like maybe, and I personally do not want to run a half marathon, but I'm just using it as an example, right? But I know people who've done it, and I have a lot of admiration for them. But if that would be something that I wanted to do, just hypothetically, but I can't make myself get on the road to that journey. It's really taking it internally. It's like, well, what am I afraid I won't be able to actually achieve that goal? Do I feel like I'm not strong enough? And then it's really looking at, it's like, and then, well, maybe I don't feel like I'm strong enough, for example. Then I make my intention that I am strong. I am capable. I am strong. I am worthy. You're putting it internal to yourself and filling your cup with what you think you're lacking. You're not lacking it. You just have to get it to the surface of yourself.
Right. And again, that goes back to what the Nadra is about. You're not completely in your subconscious, but kind of. I mean, you're kind of halfway there and kind of halfway in the conscious. I mean, you're never asleep, not really, but...
Yeah, because your subconscious is always working.
Right.
Sleep, wake, it's always going. And so when you are getting into that Nidra state, you're kind of flowing together with it, with your conscious and subconscious together, and you can clear out some stuff that's happening in there. You can come to some revelations. You can really make it one of the many tools and practices to have for yourself to come into your light and your best self, and really recognizing, you are enough, you are worthy, you are capable of doing the things that you want to do, and you can put aside your fears and you can step forward in the present. You can let things go. Because I mean, we hold everything. We hold everything within ourselves. That's why you might still. I mean, I do. I mean, I have dreams about myself still being in school and I can't find my class or whatever it is. Like all that stuff it's still in you somewhere. And so part of it, another example I like to do with it is, say this did happen to me in second grade. I tripped over a curb and I fell and I busted my nose and like eyebrow open. So for me, maybe so that's still held in me somewhere. So if I'm walking really fast and I go to like trip on a sidewalk, my brain's going to trigger and say, oh no, you're going to really hurt yourself. No, that's something that happened to me in the past. I'm just going to catch myself this time. And so the Niagara meditation helps you to not go back in time to that thing that happened to me. It's going to help me just carry forward and just keep on walking.
And it really is sort of something you have to practice at. I mean, you're not going to do it the first few times. I mean, you're just not. I mean, or at least I know I wouldn't. I'm still making a grocery list to go in the back of my head.
Right. Yeah, and like anything else, right? You're not going to go to like a Pilates class and be one time and be awesome at Pilates.
Right.
Like keep going. And so like anything else, it's the practice for all of your bodies, really. But yes, it's definitely helpful for the mental. And, I feel that way about really any sort of exercise you're going to do, physical, mental, spiritual. It's all a practice. The more you do it, the more you're gonna hone and define and get to where you want to be.
Sure. So I know we've got to go. We both have busy days, but platform, how long have they been opened?
They really close to a year. They're just getting to their 1 year anniversary, and I think they're planning a celebration. I think it might be the 12th of September.
Oh, cool.
But anyway, they're just gonna kind of do like a celebration for being open a year, talk about how they're expanding and the other opportunities that they have for people to find their lane of what's going to work for them to get into their present state with meditation and breath work and, taking it beyond when you leave your meditation space. And then again, I know I keep saying this, but as you go out into the world, you can carry that peace and present with you.
Yeah, neat. Well, I'm going to have to give it a try. I will talk with you on the side and find out where I need to start since I'm not there with you in Mount Pleasant. But it sounds like we all could use a little bit of that. But thank you so much for being here. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, and I look forward to, if I'm down there, I will certainly come by.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Yes.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Talking South Carolina podcast. Why not check out our website at talkingsouthcarolina.com and follow us on social media. You can subscribe to the show on Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and on your favorite podcast apps. For information about being a sponsor on the show and on the website, contact us at area code 803-386-9885 or email us at angela@talkingsouthcarolina.com. This episode has been brought to you by the friendly folks at Giraffe Marketing. Find out more at giraffemarketingllc.com.
I'm gonna be the best version of me. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, roar like a lion, and I ain't even trying. No. And I can say you'll be blown away by the change you see.